Doctrine of caveat emptor. Caveat emptor is the Latin word. It means let the buyer beware. અમુક ઘરની બહાર નથી લખ્યું હતું beware of dogs. કૂતરાથી સાવધાન. So here caveat emptor under Sale of Goods Act means let the buyer beware. Even though the law has given certain protection and remedies in terms of implied condition and warranty to the customer, to the buyer, still it is the responsibility of the buyer to check the goods before buying it. તો બધું બરાબર જ હોય, but still we should be aware, we should be beware regarding what we are buying. So that is called let the buyer beware. Most important. So basically this rule is applicable, but under certain circumstances, even though the buyer is not beware, he will be having certain benefit. So what are the exception to this rule? What are the exception to the doctrine of caveat emptor? Okay, in case of misrepresentation by the seller. Seller has deliberately misrepresented. જાણી બુજીને ખોટું misrepresent કર્યું હોય, cheating જ કર્યું હોય, fraudulent act હોય. તો કઈ ના આપણને ખબર પડે. Duplicating કર્યું હોય, adulteration કર્યું હોય. In case of concealment of latent defects by the seller. જાણી બુજી અને અમુક વસ્તુ છુપાઈ હોય, અમુક defect હોય, એ બતાઈ ના હોય. જાણી બુજીને deliberately. તમે ગમે તેટલું કરો તો તમને ખબર ના પડે, તમે શોધી ના શકો. Not possible every time. In case of sale by description and sample, તમને sample બતાવ્યું હોય, તમને describe કર્યું હોય, and you have purchased on relying that, and the goods actually supplied do not match with the sample or description, then condition as to merchantability. અમુક પ્રોડક્ટ તમે પરચેસ કરો તો હવે બ્રાન્ડેડ પ્રોડક્ટ હોય, સારી પ્રોડક્ટ હોય, એમાં તમે શું ચેક કરવાના હતા? It is but obvious that you will expect proper quality. Then condition as to quality of fitness for buyers. In certain cases you are expecting that these goods are of better quality, they are fit for human consumption. હવે એમાં ચેક કઈ ના થાય અને પોસિબલ બી નથી ચેક કરવું. કોઈ તમને ચેક કરવા બી ના દે. તમે બાલાજી વેફરનું પેકેટ લાવો તો તોડીને થોડી ચેક કરો કે ચલો લાવો મને ટેસ્ટ કરવા બરાબર છે કે નહીં. હવે તો નથી ગઈ. Not possible. Condition to wholesomeness, fit for the human consumption. So in certain cases it is not possible to check. બરાબર, હું ઘઉંની બોરી લાવું તો સેજ મુઠ્ઠી ભરીને ઘઉં ચેક કરું. બધા ઘઉં થોડી ખાઈને ચેક કરે. ક્યાંથી પોસિબલ છે કે બરાબર છે કે નહીં? Now, transfer of property by non-owners. Generally, only the owner can transfer the property in goods. એટલે ownership. Only the owner who has right to sell or transfer the ownership can do it. No other person can do. હું handover કરી શકું, but I cannot transfer the title into the goods. I cannot transfer of property. I cannot transfer the ownership if I am not the legitimate owner. So the general rule is that only the owners of the property can transfer a title to the goods. He can transfer the ownership. Nemo det quod non habet. આવો લેટિન વર્ડ છે. હવે અમુક તમારે યાદ રાખવા પડશે. means no one can give which he himself has not. મારી પાસે જ ના હોય તો હું કોકને શું આલવાનો, મને જ ના આવડતું હોય તો હું તમને શું શીખવાડવાનો, એવું છે. જે વસ્તુ મારી નથી હું કઈ રીતના તમને આપું. So if I am not authorized, then how I can transfer ownership? So this is the general rule. But in certain cases, even non-owners who are not the legitimate owners, who are not the legal owner, can transfer property in goods, can transfer the title to the goods, can transfer the ownership. So which are these cases? They are called exceptions to this rule. Estoppels. If any person has represented to third party or to buyer as a seller, as an owner, and that third party has relied on that person, on his behavior, that he has authority to sell the goods. Now that person cannot say that I was not owner, I was just joking. Now it is his responsibility to provide goods. He has been stopped. Estoppel means he has been stopped from denying the fact. If he was not owner, he did not have any authority, then why he himself presented as an authorized person? Now the third person, third party, the buyer, consumer, customer has acted in good faith, has made payment to him by relying upon him. And then if he is saying that I did not have any authority, then it is not done. Either he has to refund the money, he has to pay for damages, or he has to provide goods. Then sell by mercantile agent, dealer, agent, retailer, stockist. All these are the person who are selling goods on behalf of the owner or manufacturer. They are just authorized representative who are just changing the goods from owner to customer. They are not having ownership, but they have been given authority by the owner to sell the goods. If we will visit any mobile store, barabar, selling particular brand, so does not mean they are owner of that company, but that company has given them dealership. They have given them right to sell particular brand of mobile. Then sell by one of the joint owners. When particular goods are jointly owned by one or more person, एक दुकान में 4-5 पार्टनर होय, बराबर? So they are called joint owners. So any one of them can sell the goods. It is not necessary that while selling goods, each and every partner, each and every owner has to remain present. Then sell by an unpaid seller. Unpaid seller no પાછળ એક આખો ટોપિક જ આવશે. So at that time we are covering that. Then sell by finder of lost goods. If any person who is the stranger has found out our goods which were lost, now after taking deliberate efforts he could not find owner. બહુ ટ્રાય કર્યો પણ ઓનર મળ્યો નહીં. Goods were of perishable nature, બગડી જાય એવા હતા. He took certain care to maintain and preserve the goods. He spent certain money which he asked from the owner. એને કીધું કે આટલો ખર્ચો છે મને આપો. But owner refused. So in that case, finder of lost goods has right to sell the goods to cover his expense. Or if he could not find the owner, he has the right to sell the goods, because it was not possible for him to preserve the goods for a lifetime, even if they are durable. Then sell by pawning. pawn shop ખબર છે ને નું આવતું હતું ને history 18 પર pawn star PAWN means જેની પાસે આપણે વસ્તુ ગીરવે મૂકી હોય અને પૈસા લીધા હોય લાઈક એને પોની કહેવાય ઓનર એન્ડ પોની સ્પેશિયલ કોન્ટ્રાક્ટ તમારે નેક્સ્ટ સેમેસ્ટર માં આવશે તારે છે so if we are pledging the goods to some person and we have borrowed money then as a pawner we failed to refund the money or perform our promise within stipulated time અમુક ટાઈમ પીરિયડ માં આપણે કોઈ વસ્તુ છોડાઈએ નહીં પૈસા ના આપીએ રિસ્પોન્સ ના આપીએ then that pawnee has a right to sell the goods even if he is not owner sell by official receiver whenever any person has declared bankrupt or insolvent all his goods all his property will be seized by an official receiver or assignee appointed by the court. So in case of insolvency, official receiver or assignee has the right to sell the goods or property and realize money and to pay off the liability to the creditors. He is the authorized one, even though he is not the ultimate owner. Then purchase in market over. Market over means open market માં તમે કઈ purchase કરો બરાબર auction માં કે એમાં નીલામીમાં so it is not necessary that person selling it person auctioning is the owner but he has a right he has an authority to sell then under negotiable instrument act negotiable instrument act means act related to check bill of exchange bills receivable so any person who has obtained the right to sell the goods under negotiable instrument act either by giving check either by giving bills receivable accepting bills receivable accepting bills payable promissory note then even though he is not the owner he can sell the goods he can transfer the ownership in the goods unpaid seller a seller deemed to be an unpaid seller when the whole price has not been paid or rendered unpaid seller એટલે a seller who has transferred the ownership or who has delivered the goods but still he has not received payment પૈસા નથી મળ્યા બિચારા total payment નથી મળ્યું કે part payment નથી મળ્યું whatever it is when the bill of exchange or other negotiable instrument has been received as conditional payment and condition has not been fulfilled by dishonor એટલે ચેક આપ્યો તો પણ ચેક બાઉન્સ થયો પેલા બેંકને ડિટેલ આપી દી પણ અકાઉન્ટમાં પૈસાને ટ્રાન્સફર જ ના કર્યા બિલ ઓફ એક્સચેન્જ એક્સેપ્ટ કર્યું હતું બટ એ બી ડિસઓનર થયું બાઉન્સ ગયું on the due date money could not be realized so in any case unpaid seller means a seller who has not received payment in part or in full now rights of unpaid seller this is also one of the important question what are the rights available to unpaid seller so rights against goods and rights against buyer personal two types of rights available rights against goods and rights against buyer personally. So first is right of lien. Lien means right to retain the possession of the goods. Barabar? He can take possession of the goods back, or he cannot, sorry, he will not release the goods. He will not deliver the goods. બરાબર? અટકાઈ દે. બરાબર? એને પોતાના કબજામાં લઈ લે. બરાબર? He will take goods under his possession. So that is called lien. So whenever seller has transferred the ownership in the goods, but he has not received money in part or in full, he can take the possession of goods, or he will not deliver the goods to the buyer unless and until the payment is received. So circumstances under which this right of lien can be exercised. So where the goods have been sold without any stipulation to credit. Specify ના કર્યું હોય કે ભઈ ક્યારે પૈસા આપવાના. તો પૈસા તો આપવા જ પડે ને. તો પેલો કે તમે ક્યાં સ્પેસિફાઈ કર્યું કે પૈસા નહીં મળે, આપીશું, આવશે એટલે મળશે. Where the goods have been sold on credit. ક્રેડિટ પર વેચ્યા છે, ક્રેડિટ પીરિયડ બી નક્કી છે, બટ ધેટ ક્રેડિટ પીરિયડ has expired કે 2 મહિનામાં આપીશ એવું કીધું હતું, 2 મહિના થઈ ગયા હજી પેમેન્ટ નથી આવ્યું. Where the buyer becomes insolvent. તો ખબર જ છે કે buyer insolvent declare થઈ ગયો, તો ક્યાંથી પૈસા આવવાના છે? તો પેલો ગાંડો છે કે વસ્તુ આપે તે મૂર્ખો કહેવાય. So it is confirmed when buyer becomes insolvent or bankrupt that he is not going to make payment. Then he will not release the goods. But obviously, suppose part of the goods has been delivered and part of the goods has not been delivered. 100 units નો કોન્ટ્રાક્ટ કર્યો ને એમાંથી 40 આપે છે, 60 બાકી ને પેમેન્ટ નથી આવે, so he will not release the remaining goods unless and until payment is received. So these right can be exercised for the part of goods also if the goods are divisible. If the seller was in possession of goods as daily for buyer, means he was preserving the goods for buyer. પેલા એમ કીધું હમણાં રાખો ને યાર, મારી પાસે વ્યવસ્થા નથી સાચવવાની, તમે રાખો પછી હું લઈ જઈશ. But now the seller will come to know that buyer is not intending to make payment, or he has not made payment, or he has not taken the delivery of the goods which he was supposed to take by making payment. So in this case also he will not release the goods. Under which circumstances this right of lien will be lost? So when he delivers the goods to the carrier or other bailey for the purpose of transmission. કોક બીજાને આપી દે, મોકલાઈ દેજે, હવે પાછું પોઝિશન લેવું તકલીફ પડે. If he has delivered the goods to transportation company, he has loaded the goods to some vehicle, train, truck. So now the goods are not in his possession. Then how? He cannot deliver. He has already delivered them. They are out of his possession. So here the right of lien is lost. Where the buyer or his agent has lawfully obtained the possession of goods. The buyer had authorized document to take the delivery of the goods and he has taken the delivery even though payment was not made. It happens. Okay, even though payment is not made, but delivery challan, clearing note, or due to any authorized letter to take the delivery, take the possession, the buyer has taken the delivery of the goods from port, from railway station, from transport company. When the seller waives his right of lien, it specifically says કે ઠીક છે લો આ goods પૈસા મુકાઈ નહીં, તો he specifically waiving his right, જવા દે છે એનો જે રાઈટ છે જતો કરે અને પછી કે પૈસા નહીં ચલો હું પાછું લઈ લો, તો હવે ના થાય કોઈ ડિલિવરી આપી દીધી પેલા પોઝિશન લઈ લીધું ક્યાંથી આવશે. When the buyer disposes of the goods by sale or in any other manner with the consent of seller, પેલા પેમેન્ટ નથી કર્યું બરાબર, બાયર એની પાસે ગુડ્સ બી છે બરાબર, અને પેલો એમ કહે છે કે હું તો આ વેચી મારીશ અને તોય તમે કઈ કરતા નથી અને પછી વેચાઈ જાય, પછી થર્ડ પાર્ટી ને કહો કે આ તો મારા ગુડ્સ પૈસા નહીં આવે, એમાં થર્ડ પાર્ટી શું કરે? તમને ખબર હતી કે એણે પૈસા નથી આપ્યા તો બી તમે ગુડ્સ કેમ આલ્યા અને આલ્યા તો આલ્યા, અટકાયું કેમ નહીં? Then right of stoppage in transit. In transit એટલે રસ્તામાં હોય, transportation માં. The goods have been delivered to transportation company, to any carrier, to be delivered to the buyer. So they are in between, in transit. They are not in possession with either seller or buyer. So the seller who is unpaid can stop the goods in transit. રસ્તામાં રોકાઈ શકે. ક્યારે? Under which circumstances right of stoppage in transit can be exercised? So the seller must have parted with the possession of goods. હા, તો જ રસ્તામાં રોકાય, એની પાસે ના આવે તો જ ને, એની પાસે હોય તો right of lien આવે ને. So the goods are not in possession of seller. The goods must be in course of transit, રસ્તામાં છે, and buyer must have become insolvent. ખબર છે કે પેલા insolvent declare થઈ ગયો, bankrupt થઈ ગયો, પૈસા મળવા નહીં તો પહેલાથી અટકાઈ દો ભાઈ, એને ડિલિવરી આપી કદાચ પછી પૈસા નહીં આપે તો નથી જ આપવાનું, તો પછી ક્યાં પછી ડિલિવરી કરવાની જરૂર છે? રસ્તામાં ટ્રાન્સપોર્ટ કંપનીને ટ્રકને કે ટ્રેનમાં કે ગમે તે રીતના અટકાઈ દો. ટેક બેક ધ પોઝેશન, સ્ટોપ ધેમ ઇન ટ્રાન્ઝિટ. Duration of transit. Goods are deemed to be in course of transit from time to time when they are delivered to a carrier or other bailey for the purpose of transmission to buyer. Unless and until the buyer or his agent has not taken delivery. જ્યાં સુધી buyer delivery ના લે ત્યાં સુધી transit માં કહેવાય. But as soon as buyer has taken the delivery, અધવચ્ચેથી લઈ લે તો બી ચાલે અને ડેસ્ટિનેશન ઉપર લે તો બી ચાલે. So unless and until the buyer has not taken the delivery of the goods, they are presumed to be in transit. At that time or before taking delivery, before the buyer has taken delivery, the unpaid seller can exercise his right of stoppage in transit. Then, under which circumstances these rights have been lost? If the buyer or his agent has taken the delivery, so now the goods are no more in transit. If after arrival to the designation, authorized agent authorized representative of buyer acknowledges that he has taken delivery of the goods. When the goods have been delivered to particular truck, transport company, ship or railway, and in any manner the seller could not stop them or could not take the delivery in transit, or they are not ready to stop unless and until they will reach the destination, then nothing can be done. When carrier or the bailee who has delivery of the goods refuses to deliver the goods back to buyer or his agent, ના પાડ દે કે ના ભાઈ એ બધું તમારી ઇન્ટરનલ માટે તમે જાણો, અમને તો જે સોંપી દે અમને મોકલાવો બસ પતી ગયું. Where sub sale means further sale or disposition of the goods by the buyer has been done with the consent of seller. Direct બારોબાર પેલો વેચી મારે. A has sold goods to B. The goods are still in transit. B, who is having ownership document, who is having authorized letter to sell the goods, has sold the goods to C. डायरेक्ट प्लान के देखो ये મને નહીં ત્યાં મોકલાઈ દે તો શું થાય? કઈ ના થાય. How to exercise right of stoppage in transit? How this right can be exercised? So by taking actual possession of the goods or by giving notice to the carrier or other bailee who possesses the goods. બરાબર એ વચ્ચેથી રસ્તામાં જ હોય ત્યારે પોઝેશન લઈ લેવું, અથવા જે ટ્રાન્સપોર્ટ કંપની થ્રુ, જે કેરિયર થ્રુ, ટ્રેન થ્રુ, શિપ થ્રુ એ કોઈ માણસ થ્રુ તમે મોકલાઈ હોય વસ્તુ અને એને ઇન્ટિમેટ કરી દો તમે કે ભાઈ ડિલિવરી ના આપતો આપણું પેમેન્ટ બાકી. So this is how the stoppage of transit can be exercised. Then right of resale. Unpaid seller can resell the goods to some other person, to third party. That is called resell, selling the goods once again. Now under what circumstances this right can be exercised? So where goods are of perishable nature, બગડી જાય એવા હોય, એટલે એક બાજુ પેલો પૈસા નથી આપતો અને તમારી પાસે જ પડ્યા છે અને બગડી જાય તો પેલો એમ જ કહે પૈસા જ નહીં મળે, goods તો બગડી ગયા. So at that time the unpaid seller is right to resell the goods. Where seller expressly reserve a right of resale if buyer commits default. ચોખ્ખું કીધું જ હોય કે પેમેન્ટ નહીં આપો તો બીજાને વેચી મારો. If you will not make payment in stipulated time, then નક્કી કરેલા ટાઈમમાં પેમેન્ટ નહીં થાય, then I will sell off the goods. Where unpaid seller who has exercised his right of lien or stoppage in transit give notice to the buyer. એ કહી દે એને કે ભાઈ મેં રસ્તામાં goods અટકાઈ દીધા છો અથવા હું ડિલિવરી નહીં આપું જો તું મને પેમેન્ટ નહીં આપે તો, અને તોય પેલો પેમેન્ટ ના આપે, પેલો એમ કે ચલ ચલ રિસ્પોન્ડ ના કરે or refuses to make payment, then the unpaid seller have exclusive right to resell the goods to someone else. So whether notice has to be given or not, and under different circumstances what right is available. See, where unpaid sellers right to recover the loss on sale. So when the notice is given in case of resale after notice, notice આપ્યા પછી એ resell કરે. So in that case, unpaid seller's right to recover the loss on goods is available. એને જે નુકસાન ગયું resell કરે તો કદાચ ઓછી પ્રાઇસે કરવું પડે. So at that time whatever loss he has suffered, he has right to recover that. Because એ તો unpaid seller buyer નો problem હતો ને, એને પેમેન્ટ ના કર્યું એટલે બીજાને વેચવું પડે એટલે નુકસાન થયું. But notice of resale has to be given. If notice has not given, then loss cannot be recovered. Then original buyer's right to recover profit on resale. In case of notice of resale is given, then buyer cannot recover the profit. અને નોટિસ આપી જ દીધું હતું કે પેમેન્ટ કરો ને તો બીજાને વેચી દેજો. પછી બાયર એમ કહે કે અમને નુકસાન ગયું કે તમે અમને વેચ્યા હોત, તમે તમને આપી દીધા હોત તો અમે આટલા ભાવે બીજાને વેચ્યા તો અમને આટલો પ્રોફિટ થાય. Now that profit cannot be recovered. But if unpaid seller has not given any notice regarding that, then the buyer, original buyer, can recover the profit. કે ભલે તો બીજાને વેચ્યા, મેં તને પેમેન્ટ ના આપ્યો પણ મારો પ્રોફિટ તો આપી દઉં મને. મેં તને ના ક્યાં પાડી તું, તારે આ જોયું છે. Now new buyer, the third person to whom goods have been resold, will get the clear title to the goods, will get clean ownership to the goods. Doesn't matter whether the notice of resale has been given by the unpaid seller to original buyer or not. એનાથી એને કોઈ લેવા દેવા નહીં. એના શું મતલબ છે? એને તો પૈસા આપીને વસ્તુ લીધી છે. પહેલા શું પ્રોબ્લેમ થયો હતો, he is not concerned with it.